Welcome to the first training call. We're a little bit late. We've had some technical difficulties with getting everything set up here. Hopefully by next week we'll have all that worked out. So that's the goal anyway. So just want to go ahead and get started since we're running a little bit late. My name is Keith Abel. I'm a pharmacist. I'm a home-based business entrepreneur. I've been in this network marketing business now for multiple years. Seriously in the business, started at the end of 2012, January 2013. Anyway, with this training series, you're about to embark on a journey into the home-based business world. It's a journey where you sometimes feel like you're alone and challenged, and it's a journey where you're sometimes going to ask yourself, what have I gotten myself into? Folks, if you take the time and delve into this training, you're going to have success. You're going to have the success that you desire, the success that you had in mind that brought you this far. Our goal here is to help you along that journey to success and help you get there. We want this training to be a one-stop resource for your success from home. It's so important to get started the right way so that you can experience immediate success. Now, we've put together a proven system that gets you started and into action from the moment that you sign up. And the most exciting part of the system is that you're not alone, folks. You're not in this by yourself. What a relief. It's nice to know that you're going to be in the business for yourself, but not by yourself. It's like you've been handed the key to your new business in one hand, and on your other hand, it's being held by your upline success leader and other folks like myself. You're going to love the freedom and flexibility that comes from being a business owner in this industry. You know, I've spent the last part of 2015, first part of 2016, traveling from coast to coast, meeting with industry leaders, both within our company and outside our company, to bring you the most comprehensive training programs that I can. No matter who I talked to, I discovered that it all boiled down to about 8 basic steps to success. In addition to this training, I've created a website where I've got links to videos and audios and other information that'll help expand upon the ideas that's presented in these webinars. It'll allow you to explore more deeply the concepts that are presented here. This is a duplication model. That's what we teach, duplication. Our system is so easy to duplicate. And I'm spelling duplication, D-O-P-L-I-C-A-T-I-N. And I know the spelling's wrong, but I think that duplication is it's more about actually doing than following a system. It's actually doing something. Our steps are pretty simple. You've got to, first of all, be CEO qualified so you can max out on a compensation plan. Once you're CEO qualified, then the next step will be to become a regional marketing director. And that's where you start earning the first of the CEO coding bonuses, a $15 extra bonus. And then once that's achieved, your next goal is to become qualified as a senior executive marketing director, because at senior executive marketing director level, that's where the money is. That's where you start earning that $100 coding bonus. And that's where you can achieve the car bonus. So we want you to get your car bonus qualified as soon as we possibly can to earn that extra $300 a month. And that's where you start earning the 2% infinity bonus. So anyhow, success comes from duplication, not innovation. And the question for you guys here is, what's going to happen to the growth of your team and your income if everybody that joined you can hear what I'm saying? If everyone was plugged into the same system immediately, will that make a difference in your team? Folks, I know it will. I feel like most people that join, they don't get this information soon enough. And I want to be able to get it in their hands as quick as we possibly can. And again, I ask you, do you want to fail or do you want to succeed? You've got to make a commitment to follow the system to the letter, step by step. Don't skip a single step. Don't pick and choose the ones you want to follow. Follow the system exactly as it's laid out. You know, here are the 8 steps. Number 1, define your dream. Define your dream and have a burning desire for its achievement. That's the first thing you've got to do. It's always been the first step, and it's always going to be the first step. You've got to decide why. Number two, you've got to make some commitments. You got to get plugged in and stay plugged in. And there's a lot of choices when it comes to getting plugged in. Getting plugged in and staying plugged in is an important tool to keeping yourself and your business moving forward in the right direction. Thinking of it as an inoculation that gets the negativity that life's going to be throwing at you. And then number three, you've got to use the products. Belief is one of the most important aspects of success. You have to believe in the products. Belief is a major factor on whether people will be attracted to you in your business or not. Number four, you have to build an active prospect list. You have to know who you're going to talk to, and you have to continue to build that list. After you go through your warm market, you've got to establish at least 5 ways to create leads. And that's something else we're going to cover in a later lesson. You've got to step number 5 is you've got to show the plan. Say less to more people. Let the tools do the work. Never let yourself become the story. You can't be duplicatable, but the tools can be. And your goal is going to be to get 50 no's and get through your warm market as fast as you possibly can. And if you're brand new, that's the most important thing to get your business going forward quickly. And there's nothing you can do that's more important than that. Number 6 is to follow up and follow through. Your goal after showing the plan is to book another appointment with the people. Keep them in the funnel until a decision's made one way or another. And then the last 2 steps, I want to borrow a term from Eric Worre, but I call them the GoPro steps. This is where your business begins to grow geometrically. And step 7 is help the people that you sponsor. This is where you marry your prospects. You commit to helping them get started, to help them get their money back as quickly as possible, and help them start duplicating. And number 8, you've got to commit to personal development. Jim Rohn says that formal education will make you a living, but self-education is going to make you a fortune. And we're taught all of our life to go to school and get a good education, to go to work for a good company. The reality is that that's not how you create wealth. It's about self-education. To be truly successful, you must immerse yourself in self-education. And that's the 8th step. So I'm asking for a commitment. If you're listening to me, here's what I'm asking you to do. Follow these 8 steps in order. Don't skip a single one. The first 4 of them, you need to do as soon as possible, preferably in the first few days that you're in the business. And then when you get to step 5, you want to work with your sponsor, and if possible, and of course, and to commit to getting 50 no's. Get 50 no's as quick as you possibly can. Try to get 50 no's in 30 days. If you can get 50 no's in 30 days, you're going to have more going on than you can possibly keep up with. You will, no matter what your experience level is, no matter what you know or what you don't know. No matter how many questions you can answer. If you get this program in front of 50 people quickly, there's going to be enough people that are going to see it, that no matter what your experience level is, and I've proven that. When I first got started in 2013, I decided in January that I was going to enroll 20 people in 30 days. It was constantly, nonstop going for it because I understood that you had to. It's like an airplane. Does an airplane get off the ground if you give it 20% power? What about if you give it 50% power? No, it takes 100% full throttle to get that plane off the ground and flying. That's the same thing here, folks. The hardest part is getting it off the ground, and that's the key. I didn't hit my goal of 20 by the end of that 30 days, but I had enrolled 18. And within a couple months, that 18 had grown to the point that I achieved the car bonus, and I was able to save my home, was able to pay for my kids' school private education. So when you come in, you've got to hit it. I mean, you've got to go for it. You can't onesie and twosie this business. Most people go out and they say, well, I'm going to talk to 3 or 4 people a day. And then they go out and talk to 2 or 3 or 4 people, and they hand out a few business cards. And then they go home and they're just staring at their phone or staring at their email, waiting to see if somebody came to their website. I want to tell you folks, that's insane. You can be a smart person, but that activity is insane. It's not going to work in this business. One of my early mentors, Dale Johnson, may he rest in peace, he once told me that when he started, he made a commitment that he would not go home each day until he had shown this business presentation to at least 5 people that day. It didn't matter whether they joined or not. He made the commitment that he would get 5 sets of eyes on the business presentation each and every day. He went on to become a multi-million-dollar income earner in this business. You know, people ask me all the time, well, Keith, what percentage of the people that go to your website and watch, I don't really care. I don't care I just get as much out there as I can and get as many people in the funnel as I can every week, because if I've got enough people going in at the top of the funnel, there's going to be a few that fall out at the bottom. And I don't care about the ones that are stuck in the funnel. Some people have decision constipation. They can't make one. I mean, it's like, I don't have time to try to figure that out. I refuse to. I absolutely refuse. I'm looking for people that are looking for me. And some people say, well, Keith, I just don't see how you could have sponsored 18 new people in that 30-day blitz. I've been in this for 10 months, and I haven't sponsored 18 people in 10 months. It's because I communicate. I get the story in front of 10 to 20 times more people. That's why. If they don't show an interest, I scratch them off my list. I'll call them one time. I'll call them and I'll say, I just want to check back with you and see if you had an opportunity to check out the website and see what you liked best about what you saw. And if they say, well, Keith, I haven't had a chance to watch. Okay, then, when will you have a chance? When will be a good time? You tell me. When will be a good time for me to follow up with you? Well, I could probably see it Saturday afternoon. So why don't you call me back Saturday night? Okay, on Saturday night, I'm going to follow up. And I'm going to say, hey, just wanted to check with you and see what you liked best about the video. And if they say, well, Keith, I just haven't had a chance to watch yet, I'm going to say, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go ahead and scratch off my list for now, and I'll get back to you down the road when I've got more time. I'm gone, folks. Because I didn't pressure them, I can go back to them again in the future. At some point in their future, their door might be open. You say, I've got a business to build. You have a business to build. And there's this whole thing with network marketers that we're supposed to beg, and they're supposed to stiff arm us. You can't play that game. That's not the game. We've got a trend here with this company that's going to be $1 billion in the next few years, with or without us. We don't have time to sit around trying to get somebody to take a look at the greatest opportunity they're going to see in their lifetime. If you don't beg, you can go back to them. Do you understand that? If you don't beg, you can always go back. And maybe they'll listen to you better the next time, because maybe something has happened in their life that the door is now open. So the purpose of this training is to increase your odds for success. And I'm not going to give you ideas and tips. I'm not going to do that. I mean, my goal is to teach a very specific system. And there's a difference between learning a tip or learning an idea and learning a system. There's going to be 3 concepts that I want you to learn and the 8 steps. And I'm going to give those to you. We're in the right place at the right time. Listen to me, online. Go back through this video. Check out some of the other training that I have on the Aim High Team website. Listen to it until you're sick of it. Get it in your mind through repetition. You can never become successful in this industry, or really anything else that you do, unless you know why you're doing it. So we're taught all of our life to go to school, get a good education, go to work for a good company. The reality is that that's not how you create wealth. It's about personal education. Jim Rohn once said, a formal education will make you a living. If you become self-educated, you can create a fortune. And over the years, I've attended a lot of different seminars. I've met a lot of different people that have done extremely well and have become financially independent in different niches of all types, in different markets. And the only thing that they have in common is they became personally educated and not just formally educated. Over the past year, I've met more than a dozen people that are all making over $1 million a year. And I was just trying to define, to determine what's the common denominator with all these people. And here's what I think the number one thing is that they all have in common. The people that made it had reasons for making it, strong driving reasons. But the other thing I found was just as fascinating is the ones that made it, that had a college degree, none of them were making their fortune in the area that they had studied in college. So whether they went to school or not, every single one of them realized that you have to do something different. You have to pay a price. Maybe the society doesn't tell you that you have to pay. There's a lot of people that go to school and get a good education and go to work for a good company, and they have this attitude of entitlement. I did what society told me to do. Now I'm entitled to make a good living. Where's my money? Folks, that was me. I worked my tail off to put myself through college to become a pharmacist. That was my attitude. It wasn't until I lost it and wasn't able to find permanent employment for 2 years that I realized that success, financial freedom, was up to me and not my job or my degree. I've heard it said that A students end up working for C students, and it's really true. Over my lifetime, the people who've had the most success hired people to work for them that were all sharper than they were. The people that they hired all had skills that they didn't have themselves. They hired a lot of people, highly intelligent people to work for them. really highly intelligent people that were the A students who ended up working for them. During the war, a Chicago newspaper published certain editorials in which, among other statements, said that Henry Ford was an arrogant, ignorant pacifist. Mr. Ford objected to the statements and sued the paper for libeling. When the suit was tried in courts, the attorneys for the newspaper placed Mr. Ford himself on the witness stand so he could prove to the jury that he was ignorant. The attorneys asked Mr. Ford a lot of questions, and all of them were intended to prove through Ford's own words that while he might have considerable specialized knowledge relating to manufacturing automobiles, that he was ignorant. And thus, they could say that in their newspaper article. He was asked questions like, who was Benedict Arnold? And how many soldiers did the British send over to America to put down the revolution in 1776? Now, on that particular question, Mr. Ford replied, I don't know the exact number of soldiers the British sent over, but I've heard that it was considerably larger number than the ones that went back to England. So finally, Mr. Ford got tired of all the questions, and in reply to one particularly offensive question, he leaned over, he pointed his finger at the lawyer who had asked the question and said, if I should really want to answer that foolish question that you've just asked me, or any of these other questions that you've been asking me, let me remind you that I have a row of electronic push buttons on my desk, and by pushing the right button, I can summon to my aid men who can answer any question I desire. Now, will you kindly tell me why I should clutter up my mind with general knowledge for the purpose of being able to answer questions when I have men around me who can supply any knowledge I require? Folks, there's a lot of good logic in that, and the answer floored the lawyers. Every person in the courtroom realized it was not the answer of an ignorant man. Any man is educated who knows where to get knowledge when he needs it, and how to organize that knowledge into definite plans of action. Through the assistance of his mastermind group, Henry Ford had at his command all the specialized knowledge that he needed to enable him to become one of the wealthiest men in America. It wasn't essential that he had all this knowledge firsthand in his own head. And I don't care what society's told you, formal education makes you a living. If you become self-educated in the right industry at the right time, you can create a fortune. You can create a fortune here too. It's not difficult. Just do simple things over and over and over and teach other people to do the same things. I ask you again, do you want to fail or do you want to succeed? If I give you the 8 steps that a dozen $1 million income earners gave me, how many of the 8 steps are you going to follow? So the first one, define your dreams. Until you know why, the how doesn't matter. That's the first step. That's always been the first step. It's still the first step. Until you know why you're doing this business, the how really doesn't matter. You have to take the time to ask, okay, what do I want to accomplish from this business? You've got to decide. If you don't know why, then you can't just do it because it looks like a good opportunity or, well, you know, I just think maybe I can make some money here. Guess what? You're not going to make it. If you don't know why, the how does not matter. When I got involved in this business, I had 3 goals that compelled me. Number 1 is I wanted to save my house, the dream home that I built with my own blood, sweat, and tears from being sold or foreclosed upon while I was unemployed. Number 2, my Malibu was on its last leg and I needed a car desperately. And number 3, I needed to finish for my youngest son's private school tuition. That's why I got started in this business. Now, all 3 of those goals have changed since then because I was able to accomplish all 3 of them. And you know, that was the first goals I had. That was what really compelled me to do it in the beginning. So we teach you when you get in, take the time and figure out your 20 top reasons that why you want to do this business, and then narrow that down to 3. And we've put a form on the website that you can fill out where you can fill out your 20 reasons. Then you narrow it down to 3, and then you print that out. Okay. And you sit down with your spouse and you decide, okay, what do we really want to accomplish from this business? Until you have that inside of you, you're not going to make it. You're going to fail. So you need to fill out that form. You scan it into your computer or you take a picture of it with your telephone and then send it to your sponsor. Send it to your other upline leaders as well. While you're at it, also print out extra copies of it. Okay. Especially the 3 reasons part of it. Fill that out, print out multiple copies of the 3 reasons, and put those copies on your bathroom mirror and in your car and wherever else that you would see them throughout the day. You guys hear what I'm saying? This is not optional. This is not, well, Keith, I'll show you. I already know what I want in my head already. Go ahead, dummy. Well, Keith, I've got my reasons right here. I know why. You aren't the issue, folks. You're not the issue. Even if you've got them right here between your thick brain, between your ears, even if you know the reasons right here, your team members need to write them down. And if you're lucky enough to have somebody following you, they need to write it down. And they have to see that you're doing the same thing. So you're not the issue. You can't expect people to do that which you're not willing to do yourself. Wake up, folks. This is step one. It's always been step one. It'll always be step one. 15 years ago, it was step one. It's step one now. 15 years from now, it's always going to be step one. Every successful person out there that's made it big in any industry has had their why, and they knew their why. You cannot go to the second base or third base until you get to first base. And you've got to help people see that before they talk to anybody. Whoa, you're not talking to anybody until you know why you're doing this business. Get it on paper. Get it to your sponsors, your upline sponsor. Get it to me, whoever. And then move forward. Personally, on my team, if members aren't willing to do this step right here first, this very first step, they're not gonna stay in the business long, and I'm not gonna waste my time on them. And until you've done that, I don't have any time for you. I don't have anything to tell you, nothing to say. I've got no training. I've got no time. I'm not going to give a person 1 minute of time on the phone. I can't. Not until they have their reasons why they want to do this business and they've shared those reasons with me. Look, you've got to know why you're doing it. Until you know why, the how doesn't matter. That's going to be what drives you, because you want to quit. You're going to want to quit every single day. My first 3 or 4 years, I wanted to quit all the time. Had I quit, I would have lost my house. I would never own my Cadillac. My son would not have graduated from the school he graduated from. Okay? You've got to know why. So when you run into those negatives, like we all do, you're going to sit down and you're going to look at those reasons why. And then you're going to ask yourself, do I really want this? And if it's something you really want, then it's going to motivate you to keep on going. That's all I'm going to talk about today. I'll keep this training a little bit shorter than normal, but you can find this information on the team training website. It's aimhighteam.com, aimhighteam.com. And when you go there, the very first step that you're going to see on there, on the left-hand side, you're going to see a list of links under training tools. And, you're going to start with the getting started right and understanding 3 concepts. And then go straight into step 1, define your dreams. And there's some extra links on there to help you work through what your dreams are. Visit those links, watch those videos. They'll help you out. And like I said, the goal for you is to get through the first 4 steps within your first week in the business. Get through those first 4 steps. Step 1, define your why. Send that into your upline leader. Your upline leader then will take the time to work with you on the next 3 steps. Step number 2, you're going to make some commitments, and we're going to get into that next week on this training call. Step number 3, you're going to use the products. You're going to make sure you're on your auto ship. And then step 4, your upline leader is going to help you build that active prospect list, and we're going to go over what you're going to say to those folks, what you're going to do to invite those folks. And we're going to make it as simple, as easy as we possibly can, and as less threatening as we possibly can. I've like I said, I've talked to a lot of people over the last year and a half that have made it big in this industry, and I've tried to condense everything down as small and simple as we possibly can. And that's what we're going to teach you there after you build that list, how to talk to that first group of people on your warm market list and get that out of your way, get the 50 no's out of your way as soon as possible. So anyhow, we're going to do this call next week. We're going to start it at 7 o'clock, and we're going to delve a little bit more deeply into this. Probably going to cover a couple of the steps next week, because my goal is to have an hour to do this. So we'll probably cover the making commitments and using the products, and maybe even get started on the building a active prospect list. So anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the training call today. I hope this is something that you'll be able to learn from, And, like I said, we're going to do this every week. Go to the website hangouts.aimhighteam.com. That's hangouts.aimhighteam.com. And you'll see the schedule on there and the conference information for to call into the audio webinar, to the conference call line. So once again, thank you very much. Welcome to the Aim High team. Welcome to the training, and we'll see you again next week.